Hello friends, welcome to Tassel Tuesday. Today I am doing an open collaboration with our friend Norma, the Misfit Florida crafter. And I can see that my camera is in a little too far. You guys probably couldn't hardly see what I was doing. Okay, let's try that. Okay, so open collaboration, we are making gnome tassels, and this week the theme of the tassel is shabby chic. And so I wanted to show you the items that I have gathered together. This, and I'll show you a picture of it, this is gorgeous vintage cotton that I absolutely love. And it has peachy hues to it, so I pulled some peach ribbon, and these particular ones were given to me by my friend Crystal Rose, just crafting over here. And then these I found at the thrift store, as well as these, and these are all, as you can see, peach. Hopefully that's translating over onto the video. I've also grabbed some of this. This is just a very nice cream color, and it's like chenille. So I thought that would be nice because this is definitely like an off-white. Very antique looking. I absolutely love it. And then of course I have my bag of pom-poms, and that's what we've got. So before we get into it, if you want to join in, you are welcome to. Use hashtag Tassel Tuesday. Use hashtag gnomedecor and link my channel in your description box, and link Norma Lisa's channel in your description box as well. So this is what we've got to start with. When I think of shabby chic, I think of a couple of things. I think of very feminine. I think of antique, old. I think of cottage. So those are the thoughts that come to mind when I think of shabby chic. And so to go along with that, I have torn the cotton, as I always do with cotton. I always tear it because I love the rough edges that it gives. So I've torn a lot. I'm hoping to make more than one shabby chic gnome tassel today. So let's get to work. All right, friends, I have 3 piles of fabric here because we're gonna do a daddy gnome and a mommy gnome and a baby gnome. So I've got more fibers in here, and of course you can see much less in this one. So I'm gonna get started on the daddy gnome. Friends, as I started to work with the fabrics, I noticed that it was leaning more towards the pinks than the peaches. So I went ahead and grabbed some additional ribbon to see if those would look better than the peachy ones. All right, friends, so some of you might remember in my first gnome Tastic tassel video, I did a tutorial, and I used a fabric for the, I guess, gnome outfit. Actually, it was the ghost gnome. So for his like little ghostly outfit, and then I did his beard separate. So I'm doing the same technique here that I did on this one. So before I tied it, I moved all of the beard material to what we'll call the front of the tassel. And then to secure everything, I do what I do with every single puff top tassel. I went ahead and tied some ribbon about 1 inch down from the top. And now I'm just tugging on those fibers to make it less puffy. We don't want it puffy because we're going to try to turn that part of it into a hat. So, you know, I tried to pull the fibers down so that it wouldn't be puffy. And now I am wrapping it with some cotton fabric that I had, and this first layer is just going to be to secure all the fibers kind of into a hat shape, and then I'll go over that with a different material. Now I'm going to go ahead and wrap it with the decorative fabric, and I have chosen a kind of a blush color. It's between pink and peach, and like I said, it's kind of a blush color. And I'm going to use, this is the Daddy Gnome tassel, so I'm going to go ahead and use velvet on his. Just so you know, thinner fabric is easier to use than wider, and I should say ribbon actually. With the wide ribbon, when you start to go at an angle, it kind of becomes extreme, but when it's thinner, you can manipulate it more easy. So here I'm using a relatively wide ribbon. So you're going to notice I'm going to have to wrap this around and then use another short piece and wrap it around in the opposite direction, and then I'll use a long piece to go around the rest of it. It's just what I had to do to get full coverage with this particular ribbon. If you see the tassel pop off the top of the screen, it's because I'm reaching up and I'm using my hot glue gun. I'm going to go ahead and embellish the hat with this green trim, and it's a material like rope. It's kind of rough, and I like that it's almost this olive green color, and it really goes well with the green that is in the fabric that I'm using. I've been making the hats wider at the bottom, like there's a brim on it, and so I'm going to do that with this little gnome tassel also. But I want to tell you that I wrap the fabric so tight, typically, that sometimes it's hard for me to get the nose up under there. So before I finish embellishing this hat and putting the rim on, I'm going to put the nose on first. So here I'm just putting a dab of glue, and then I am pushing this pom-pom kind of like right up in there, and then I will add the rim around the edge. Now I'm going to use more of the green trim around the rim that I just attached. Now it is time to trim the Daddy Gnome's outfit, and then after we trim that up, we will go ahead and trim his beard. Alright friends, I wanted to embellish his hat with some flowers, and I pulled these burgundy ones out, and look how they look with the flowers on here. Hopefully you can see that. I think that's pretty neat, and I think I'll use them. And then these I might use on the other one, but I think the darker will be good on him. So you can see his beard here, and then this is his gnome tassel-y outfit. And so I think we'll embellish him with the darker flowers, and I think that'll be good. I wish I had some green leaves. I'd almost prefer to use more leaves than flowers. Let me see what I have in here. I have some paper flowers here that have, they're more leafy. Maybe I need, ooh, that might be better actually, because that's got a lot of green in it. That might be better. All right, let me pull a few of these out, see what all we have. Yeah, I think that lends itself to be a little bit more masculine. So let's maybe try that. I'll have to go and get my wire cutters so I can trim these long stems off. So I'll go do that. And I don't know if I'm gonna want gold leaves, but here's some gold leaves in case I do. And I think that's what I'm gonna do. I also have like a burgundy flower, but I think I'm gonna stick with the paper for him. All right, I'll be right back. Don't know how many of these I'm gonna use, but it's not gonna hurt to cut, you know, the stems off of all of them. I probably should stop at 3. I probably don't need 5. 3 should be enough. Okay, so I just love him. I think he's so stinking cute, and I think he's a really good shabby chic tassel. So let's go ahead and get our embellishments on. We know that we're gonna want one up here because this is where the green rope starts, and we wanna cover the start. So we will, just because, you know, it's kind of rough, so we're gonna go ahead and glue that on there. Okay friends, I got the first one done. I'll show you some pictures at the end. Now we're gonna start working on the next one, and this is gonna be the mommy gnome. And so instead of a beard for her, we're gonna use this fabric, and it's the same one I used for the beard for the daddy gnome. And this we're gonna go ahead and braid. So I went ahead and separated them, I think, yes. And I'm gonna go ahead and braid them before I even put the hat on. Hopefully that's the right move. I don't know, maybe I wait. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and do the braiding before I put the hat on. So I'm gonna want something with a little bit of weight to it to kind of hold these down while I braid. So I'm gonna use my glass, and then I will separate these into 3. It's funny, the chenille is so fluffy that you literally cannot tell that this is a braid. Like, you can't tell at all that it's a braid, but that's okay because I'll put like a little bow down at the end, and you know, that it'll at least look like a little pigtail or something. I don't know, we'll see what it looks like. All right, I'm gonna go to here, and I'm gonna use my clothespin just to hold these fibers in place. And then I'm gonna use, I don't wanna use anything too big, so how about a piece of this that my friend Crystal at Just Crafting over here gave me. The end has been burnt. Actually, that might be a good thing. So I was gonna say I'll cut off the end, but maybe I won't. I'll put a little tiny bit of Fabri-Tac on this end. So hopefully that's enough of it. I'm not sure. Actually, I'm gonna grab some's coming out right now. There we go. Okay. Hopefully that's enough. Yeah, that should be fine. All right, and now, hopefully my little bow is gonna be in the right direction. Technically it should be, because if the braid comes down, it falls that way, then the bow should show just fine. I hope that I'm doing this right. Well, I guess there's only one way to find out. All right, so here's the first one. All right, now we will work on the next one. And I can do that off camera, and then I'll just show it to you when I'm done. All right, friends, I got the braids done, and now it is time to secure these fibers, but I'm not gonna secure the braids in them. I'm just gonna, you know how we tie right around here and it just secures everything, keeps the fibers from sliding out. So we're gonna go ahead and do that real quick. This is we're gonna use a ribbon that you won't even see. So I'm gonna use this. Don't need a lot of it. Like I said, we're not even gonna see it with the end product because the hat will cover it. And we can do it right up close to the top. And we're gonna pull some of these fibers down because we don't want this to be puffy because the hat has to fit over it. So, we don't want it to be too puffy. And I'm just gonna do a double knot. This is the first time I've done a girl gnome with braids. So, I think I'm doing it right, but I don't have actually any idea if I am. Like as far as braiding it before or after the hat goes on. So now that that's in, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to hold all of this here and I'm gonna pull the cotton fabric down. Now I can't remember if I mentioned to you that when I did the daddy gnome, to start creating the hat, I just grabbed some scrap fabric that I had, tore it into shreds, and actually I love this fabric, but it had already been trimmed, like cut, ready for me to make a tassel out of it. So I just grabbed it real quick and I used that. It's gonna end up getting covered, and for the mommy gnome, I think I'm gonna go ahead and use the satin. For the daddy gnome, I used the very, very pale pink velvet one, but I think for mommy, we're gonna go ahead and use the shiny satin. But we're gonna get the hat into shape before we even worry about the satin part. And I'm just using some hot glue to stabilize the beginning of the material. And then if I feel like the material's sliding, which it did on the daddy gnome, it started to slide. So then I had to use more glue throughout. Sometimes when I'm wrapping them, winding them, I don't have to use more glue. But for these, I did, just FYI. Or for the daddy, I did. So remember, as we go up, it's supposed to become more pointy, and this is quite bulky because of the braids. So when I wrap it, I'm gonna try to wrap it really tight. And in that case, because I am gonna try to wrap it really tight, I probably will have to use the hot glue frequently. But we'll get it started and we will see what we have to do. So I think I'll just go ahead and put some here and it'll, catch on this next wraparound. And I think I put enough to catch this time too. Patience is a good thing to have while we create our cute little gnome tassels when we're, working on the shape and the details. It's good to just take your time and be patient with yourself and not be in a hurry. Okay, so notice how this is starting to slide. Well, one reason is because I didn't give it enough time to dry, for that glue to dry. So I'm just gonna pull down on it, and actually that's gonna work out good because it's giving me a little bit of a point there as I'm pulling down on it. So I might go ahead and just add a little more glue in there and then pull down on it again, and then I'll hold it until it's completely dry. All right, so since I pulled that down this way and it's nice and glued there, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it right there, and then I'm gonna go ahead and start going around this way again. I had to cut it because if I started to go around with it being pulled down this way, it might pull that fabric out of place, and we don't want that. So now I will be charged with getting this back on there and now building up the bottom part so that this part actually looks like a point. So we have our work cut out for us. So the braid creates a lot of bulk. So I wonder if maybe I should have wrapped it without braiding it until after it was wrapped. It might have laid more flat, but obviously I don't know. But I think it probably would have. But I still think, you know, we can build this up and it's gonna look great. So I'm not really worried about it. Friends, I have made our little gnome family and I cannot wait to show them to you. I am gonna pick them up and show them to you, and then I will take some still shots and have those at the very end. But I'm gonna zoom in my camera so that you can see them pretty up close. Well, actually, I'll show them to you large. Let me get these two little cuties out of the way. So this is the daddy gnome and he has a beard. Oh, let me make sure I'm in camera. Okay, this is daddy gnome and he has a beard right here. And of course, this is his cute nose and this is his hat, and the ribbon I used to make the hat is a very light pink velvet. And then I used paper flowers with lots of green leaves, and you can see the green rope that goes around. This little flower over here just covers up where I glued the rope together. We have a peachy, it's more of a peach than a pink, but it just goes so well with all of the colors in this tassel. Now I'm gonna zoom in so that you can see it up close. And then of course I'll take pictures too, but hopefully you can see this up close. So here it is, and I'm trying to look up and make sure you can see it. So, okay, so here's the little hanger, and here's a little paper flower on the hat. And then here's his little face. You can see his beard. And of course, this is his little gnome outfit. Very shabby chic. Remember, this month was shabby chic. And so vintage cotton, to me, vintage cotton is very, very shabby chic, especially with a floral pattern on it. So this is our daddy gnome. I love, love, love the way he turned out. And then, let me zoom out so you can see her entirety here. All right, you can see most of her, yes. So this is our mommy gnome, and mommy gnome has braids. Look at the braids, and they each are tied with a peachy, pinky, blush colored little ribbon. And actually that ribbon I got from my friend Crystal at Just Crafting over here. And so here's the other one. Now the braids, when I braided them, you can't even tell it's a braid, but that's okay because it's so cute and it's tied off anyway. So I think it's adorable. Another pink nose. Now I went down in size on the noses. This hat, let me make sure you can see it. This hat is pink satin ribbon, kind of a blush color. The pink velvet that matches the daddy gnome, a paper flower like he has, but then we have a nice little cream colored flower, and then a nice little peachy flower, and then we have a few gold leaves on her hat, pink flower here to cover where the the fabrics came together. And so that's her. Let me get a little close up again with this one. Hopefully you can see it okay. Let me go into autofocus. So there's the top of the hat. Here's the first flower, the second one, the paper flower, her precious little face, and then her little braids, and then here's her little gnome outfit. All of the cotton matches with each one of the gnomes. Now here is baby gnome. So you can see each tassel is smaller than the one before it. And so baby gnome also has the next size nose down. I think you could probably tell. And I also used the green around the hat, but I used some sparkly peach around it. This is a satin I didn't use on the other two. It's more of a pink satin, but I combined it with peach. And then we have a little pink flower. This was from my daughter. Actually, let me get a little bit closer. Okay. So this little piece right here, this little heart, was from my daughter. It was an earring, and she had lost the other one, so she gave it to me. You can see the little sparkles that go around the top of the hat, and then you can see the little peach band that goes around it. Here's our other little flower, and let me put little baby gnome down so you can see baby gnome's face. Let me hold my light a certain way. Maybe you can see it now without a shadow. I'm not sure if that helps. Oh, let me pull it down here though. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and take a photo of this cute little gnome family hanging up. And I hope you love them as much as I do. I think they're absolutely adorable. Thanks for watching. See you soon.